Good morning, everyone. I'm going to call the meeting to order this morning. We'll start with the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Well, our theme this morning is Patriot Day. Oh, well, do we have any announcements? Any announcements to start with? No announcements? Okay, I see we have a guest. Good morning. How are you? Welcome. Could I get your name and would Saquon Palmer? Oh, okay.
But I didn't bring him.
You didn't bring him? All right, Saquon. Well, welcome. We hope you enjoy the meeting this morning. Look, I want to take a moment really of silence, maybe a few seconds for 9/11, right? I think they're one of the darkest days in American history, as far as I'm concerned. And if we could just kind of take a moment and think of really all the first responders and the people that lost their lives in that building that day. It was a tragedy. So just a few moments, really. Thank you. Thank you. This morning, our Toastmaster this morning is Marty Johnson. Marty is a true patriot coming up this way here. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning, Mike. Thank you, fellow Toastmasters. Good morning. We do have two pieces of housekeeping to take care of. The first being the timer role, and the second is an evaluator 2 role. So if anyone would like to step up.
But Marty, if his speech runs late, I can do without an evaluator and pass till next time, because Les's speech is a 10 to 15. So you might only want 2 speeches.
But I think we could still, if you want.
It's always tight. It's always tight. I would suggest you do 2 speakers.
Okay. Okay, Mike Florio will be the timer. You can make a note of that on your program. As Mike mentioned, Patriot Day is the theme, and many of you know it is a national day of remembrance of the horrific and hateful attacks, not only on the 2 buildings in the World Trade Center in New York City, but also on the Pentagon in Arlington, Virginia, and the United Flight 93 that crashed in Shanksville, Pennsylvania. At this point, I would like to make a toast for all those that perished in those horrific attacks, and we keep the United States and all those that help keep the United States safe and protect us and help us keep our freedom. Hear, hear. Moving into our roll holders this morning, our inspiration this morning is led by Tracy Farrell. Tracy. Welcome.
Thank you, fellow Toastmasters. This is partially plagiarized from the Diocese of Louisiana. Let us remember the thousands of innocent lives that were lost on that unforgettable morning of September 11th, 2001. We also remember the courage of the countless men and women who put their lives at risk in order to rescue, alleviate, and bring solace to the afflicted. On September 12th, our country was united like never before. We weren't concerned about race, religion, or politics. We weren't concerned about what has tore us apart. Our only focus was to raise each other up. So today, let's recall that sentiment of September 12th, 2001, at our work, at home, and today at Toastmasters.
Thank you, Tracy. Next, we have our word master, our master grammarian, Steve Smith. Welcome, Steve. Good morning.
Morning. When one decides to become a patriot, one is making a commitment. So the word of the day is commitment. Have we got some tape so I can stick this up here? Send it out to everybody. Now I'm also the grammarian and the master, which means I'm going to be listening to anything and everything you say, listening for good stuff, bad stuff, filler words that we all love to use, and anything else I want to comment on. And one other thing, I will need someone to take over and give the report because we have to leave about 5 after 8 today for some doctor's appointments. So I have someone that wants to grab that. Okay, thank you, Mark. All right, thank you.
Thank you, Steve. Thank you very much. And next we have our quote master, Jill Roaring. Jill, please share a quote with us today. Good morning.
Good morning, everybody. I found a lot of quotes that considered patriots and Patriots Day. I expected to find more relation directly to 9/11, but I only found one quickly. Well, I found a couple. That's right. Forget about that. So I'm trying to decide what to do here. So I'm going to do a couple of them. Patriotism consists not in waving the flag, but in striving that our country shall be righteous as well as strong. That's by James Bryce. This next one is from Colin Powell. You can be sure that the American spirit will prevail over this tragedy. And the last one is kind of sad and telling. The tree of liberty must be refreshed from time to time with the blood of patriots and tyrants. And tyrants. Yes. That was from Thomas Jefferson.
Thank you, Jill. Our jester this morning is Marshall Song. Marshall, please share a jest with us. Marshall.
Hi. I have two jokes today. The first is about myself. I was a village boy. The 18 years old was the first time I saw a train. I secretly with my classmates to go out, and we saw a train run through a bridge very fast. I asked him why the train can run so fast. He was always the first time saw a train, and but he wanted to print. He know all the answers. He said, not very fast now. The train is just lie on the earth. If the train stand up, it can run faster.
Thank you, Marshall.
Oh, I have a second. Oh, the old couple, they married for many years. They hate each other and they fighting each other, and they yell, screaming till midnight every day. What made the neighbors afraid most is the old man always say, "Even one day when I die, I will dig my way up and out of the grave to come back and haunt you for the rest of your life. So all the neighbors were believed that the old man practiced black magic. One day, the old man suddenly died, and without reason. After the funeral that night, his wife went to the local bar and was very happy and drink, sing, dance as there was no tomorrow. The neighbors, they all worried. They asked her, "Are you not afraid, Consent? Your dead husband practiced magic, black magic. He wanted to dig up and to hunt you, to kill you." The wife said, "Don't worry, let him, the man, dig. When I buried him, I put him upside down." Thank you.
Thank you, Marshall. Next up, Mike Florio, our timer. Mike. Morning, Mike. Morning, Mike.
Fellow Toastmasters, our guest. For our guest, everything's timed right here. We want you to come up here and speak, right? But we don't want you to stand up here forever, really. And we want to make sure that that you get your time in, right? So in the beginning, we'll have table topics, and table topics will be from 1 minute, 30 seconds to 2 minutes. And there'll be lights, and I have also these cards that you'll see, and I'll hold them up. The green one will signify that you've made time. That's up 1 minute and 30 seconds for table topics. The yellow means that you're getting close, and that will come in at 1:45 for table topics. And then the red means wrap it up. You've got a little bit of time. With table topics, we give you a 15-second buffer, so you get a little bit of time beyond the red, but not much. Then after that, we have speeches that come up. Those are usually 5 to 7 minutes, and you'll see the green at 5 minutes. That gives you a little bit of time. Yellow comes in at 6. That means that you better start thinking about wrapping up your speech. And 5 means, it's time to go. And you've got a 30-second buffer there when you're doing speeches. Then next are evaluations. Everything's evaluated here. Those are 2 to 3 minutes, those talks. And there'll be a green at 2 minutes. The yellow is at 2:30. And the green is at 3 minutes. And you get a 30-second buffer for evaluations. So that should do it. Thank you, Marty.
Mike, quiz master.
Pardon me?
You're the quiz master.
I'm the quiz master?
Yes. Your role as quiz master is?
My role as quiz master is to test your knowledge. And wow, I didn't even realize that I was the quiz master. Is it really? Okay. And that's fine. I'll do double duty today. At the end of the meeting, I will be testing your knowledge as to maybe the timing. No, not the timing. Is to what you've learned in the speeches and what you've maybe remembered. That helps you become a better listener. Marty, yep.
Thank you, Mike. Table topics is our next portion of the meeting. Remember to use the word of the day, commitment. Please help me welcome Joe Budnick, our topics master. Joe Budnick. Welcome, Joseph.
Patriots Day, a day to remember the people who sacrificed their lives to keep this country great. Saquon, since you're our guest this morning, would you like to come up and say a few words about either what does Patriots Day mean to you or what holiday is near and dear to your heart? Would you like to? Okay. Or you can change the subject if you want. You can talk about the price of tea in China if you'd like. Thank you, sir.
Hello, commitment. So my name is Saquon Palmer. I'm the chaplain of the Lockport VFW. So as for commitment, you're interrupting the debate. So as for commitment, I would say my time in the war, I have 2 deployments to Iraq and 1 to Afghanistan. My time in the wars made me committed to my country, in that 9/11 will never happen again. I mean, I understand that issues happen throughout the world, but you can't deal with my country violently. And I feel once I joined the service, I stopped looking as patriotism as something other people did, as something I wanted to do myself. And thank you.
I don't know about any of you, but I actually enjoyed history in school. And I actually like social studies because I found history fascinating. Most of the other kids in my class would have just as soon be outside. They'd rather be smoking duck's feet than have to sit and listen to history. But I actually enjoyed it. I found it fascinating. Let's see, Carol, did you like history in school? Yes or no, and why?
Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmaster and guest, I did like history. I especially liked European history, early European history. I have never been to Europe to see some of the places that I read about, but I'm always surprised when I'm watching Jeopardy that a lot of the things that I learned in history stuck. And I think there was a question about the Magna Carta or something. I'm thinking, how did I remember that? Now, American history, I did like too, except I found it a little bit difficult with dates because the American history is a little more condensed time to remember dates because they're close together. And like the Civil War or any of the wars that happened in 4 years, to remember the dates of the different battles. And I would like to say about Patriots Day that I still love going to parades and always get that special feeling when our flag goes by. And I think what we should all do is be committed to always being patriots and being very thankful that we're Americans.
So 9/11 was a truly terrible tragedy in our history. I remember I was home that day from work and saw the whole incident unfold on TV. But I think something good came of it. We had a sense of patriotism in our country and a sense of commitment to our country. And I think it brought that out. So out of a tragedy, something good does come. So David, my question to you, what are your memories of 9/11? Were you home that day, or what was your thoughts on that day? Thank you. Thank you.
For the people that don't know, I lived in the Hudson Valley in that time period. I was working in a school district 30 miles north of New York City. We had a brand new principal who was there 2 days when 9/11 happened. Being so close to New York City, it was scary for us because in my school district, on the Hudson River, we had Indian Point Nuclear Power Plant. And we thought that was going to be a target. If that target was breached, 30 million people would have been at danger. So we had a Coast Guard cutter in the Hudson River for a year and a half after 9/11. And it was scary, but we came together and we had the commitment to help the kids survive. And that's when I built the giant flag in front of my school with the help of the whole community. I have a very, very personal recollection of 9/11 because my first cousin lived across the street and everything in the city shut down. And he had to walk up to his sister way uptown because all the buses, all the trains were stopped. And I asked him, Lester, how you doing? He says, okay, I'm with your cousins. I said, you can always move up to Westchester. He says, I'm not leaving. I'm not leaving. They fumigated his apartment 6 times because he was across the street. And finally it was safe for him to go back. And he lived there for many years afterwards. So 9/11 is very personal to me. And I really want people not to forget. There's a museum about 9/11 downstairs underneath. Go see it. It was designed by the same person who made the Holocaust Museum. Thank you so much for your time. Mr. Toastmaster.
So let's all bear in mind all the people who gave their lives and their time to keep our country safe. Thank you. Thank you, Marty. Mhm.
At this point, I'm calling for a timers report. Michael? Thank you, Mike.
Thanks, Marty. Carol Ann came in at 2:02. David came in at 2:14. He made it with the buffer. Saquon came in with the buffer. I think he did okay. Yeah, it was a little larger buffer, but he did fine. Thanks.
Thank you, Mike. Steve, how about our word report? How did we do on the word with the word commitment in table topics? Thank you, Stephen.
Well, I'm happy to report that all 3 of our contestants this morning used the word. Saquon used it twice. So they all qualified.
As someone mentioned during table topics, they mentioned where they were on 9/11 and 2001. I believe I was at work at the time at the Topps corporate office. And at that time it was on Main Street in Williamsville. If any of you ever drive that way, it's National Fuel Building now. I believe that's where I was. It's hard to remember exactly where, but I believe I was there. I am truly amazed at the teamwork and the pride the U.S. took to recover from these events. It's truly amazing how we recovered from what happened and how we recuperated. It's really amazing. At this point in time, I would like to introduce our evaluators who will be telling us what the speakers are going to be talking about, the speakers' objectives. Our first evaluator is Mike Licata evaluating Les Robinson's speech. Welcome, Mike.
Good morning, fellow Toastmasters.
You can take that.
Our guest Saquon.
Thank you, Mike. Appreciate it.
Les is speaking out of the pathways. His speech today is managing a difficult audience. The purpose of this project is for the member to practice the skills needed to address audience challenges when they present outside of Toastmasters. Mr. Timer, the time is 10 to 15 minutes. And Marty, I do believe you have a speech title, correct?
I have it. Thank you, Mike. Fellow Toastmasters, this morning, Les is going to talk to us about changes in our failed public relations project and the agreed new cost to each new club member in general. The title of his project is Death of AM Lockport Toastmasters, Les Robinson. Les Robinson, Death of AM Lockport Toastmasters. Welcome, Les. Morning, Les.
Thank you for breaking the news to the club. Want to welcome everybody here. I'm here in person because this is very, very important. Oh, I'm sorry. All right, let's try this again. This is a very, very important speech. As everyone knows, I have been on the board officers this year, last year, and in the past. And we've been talking about this for over the past, 14 months at the officers meetings of the downturn in our club. And eventually our club will cease to exist. We've all agreed to it. We know it's going to happen, and we probably figure in about 4 to 5 years, our organization will have enough money. I know we do have new members every week, but if you look at the statistics, our organization is going to fail in 4 to 5 years. It's going to be something incredible that we're about to do. Are you excited about this, Nancy? But you shall be. Yes, you will. I know. Because today,
I'm excited about Go Bills tonight.
all right, yay. Yes, but as once again, it's coming back to how important our club is. We've talked about the bills. We've had people that had coffee. Nobody really understands the true death that's about to happen to AM Lockport. We are falling as a club. As overall Toastmasters, all organizations have gotten smaller and smaller and smaller. Now, about 2 months ago, I came up with a very simple and easy PR program. Now, very simple. In my career, we call it the wheel of communication, and I use it time in and time out. It brings in new clients, referrals, helps people through very bad situations, and works over and over. I brought it up very simple. We've only had one member talk about why they joined Toastmasters and what they got out of it. I brought this to the officers meeting. It is. We have 4 Optimist members here. One more makes 5. Anybody want to join AM Lockport? Now, very simple, very easy. Our club officers have decided, Marty talked about this, is that we are going to hire a PR firm to help promote AM Lockport. Our goal is to bring in 150 new members over the next 4 years. And we are looking at the planet Earth to bring in everyone possible. We are going to build this organization and develop 4 new organizations across. Yes. Well, very simple, because we can use Zoom. We don't need real estate anymore. Well, good.
And I can track, somewhat watch it, but I love, and I do the best. And this afternoon, I'm teaching my first lesson of 4 this month. 18 people are coming together, interacting. In COVID and everyone isolated for 2 years, we need to come together as a group. Zoom just won't make it. People will just zoom out.
Well, with the new, that's why our new program is going to work. Program A didn't work. No one wanted to write something 30 words, 60 words.
Go Bills. Well, yeah, you give it up now.
As all things change, Mr. Tick, the person, Davis, who'd been a season ticket holder, has given up his tickets. And things do change, Jill. Well, that's very simple. It's only going to cost 2 cents every second for the next 4 years. That is what the officers agreed to. And because of the new pay system that Len instilled, we have all committed to a 4-year payment program. Aren't we all excited about that? About $100 a month per member for the next 4 years. You can't. You've already committed with the new, oh, yes. No, no. Because the officers, we hired a PR firm that's going to interview each one of you on why you joined Toastmasters and what you got out of it. We're going to do videos, and we are hired influencers. And the projection is to bring in 150 new members with 4 organizations across the country and the world. No, this has been agreed upon. Marty talked about this before I came up here. This is a done deal, everybody.
I'm not paying $100 a month for Toastmasters to hire a PR guy. You can come down to Tom's Diner and join our Optimist Club because people are optimists anyway. We have 4 members in the room.
I'm already a member. I do know what good we do. That's why we're here to promote with AM Lockport Toastmasters. We are going to promote Toastmasters because you've already agreed to it. Everyone's already had their charge cards charged. If you notice, your statement's already set up. No, because correct. No, the officers of our organization brought it up. It was brought up at the officers meeting. Yeah. Yes, we did. At the officers meeting, we did. You voted the officers. Mike, I'm 10 to 15 minutes. Yes. Don't worry about it, Dave, because it's for the people. It's for the children. We want to help the planet. Do you want to help the planet, Dave? Yes or no? Turn around and look at the person in the blue shirt without the glasses. Yes, I had nothing to do with it, Dave. Doesn't matter. I had nothing to do with it. I was not allowed under the officer board meeting. I was not allowed to hire the PR firm. We put everybody's name in a hat and we pulled Joe's. He picked it. Yes, you did. So that's why we want to promote Toastmasters. Now, does everybody want a safer planet? Yes or no? Does everybody want people to communicate better? Does everybody want to do it for the children? Childless cat ladies can join our club because they can talk about more things than you and I will ever know about. And we will learn more about cats, and that is a good thing. Pardon me, Nancy? If you want to eat them, you can. Don't worry about it. This has been designed by the officers of our club. We do not discriminate. We will welcome all to our meetings. Because it's going to be done by Zoom. Oh, they're going to be interviewing you and you're going to get your own video. Yeah, but they're going to promote you where thousands of people around the world will watch Dave. And then you'll also be able to promote all your other stuff, Dave. Isn't that a plus? Pardon me, Nancy? Oh, no, you've all been locked in under the agreement. Sorry. I didn't have the agreement to put in. The officers of the club decided this. I did not decide this. I was just given with the task to promote this club. Yes. Yes, Tracy. Yes, it will, because you'll be able to have more cats and talk to your cats more correctly. Yes, she does, because she is actually the PR firm's one of the first groups that are going to be singing our new song, which we're also getting royalties from. But Dave, I hate to tell you, only the officers are going to be able to use the royalties for special meetings in Hawaii. No, we go to Hawaii to help promote Toastmasters because it's for the children. No, your cats are going to Hawaii too. Yes, they do, because Nancy's taking them. Nancy's on the board too, and she agreed to this. But you were the deciding vote, they said. For 4 years. No, it's going to be non-inflationary money because we've locked into a contract. In 4 years from now, that $100 may be 150, but it's only going to be under today's dollars. It's a deal, Dave. You are saving money in the future and you're doing it for the world. Do you want world peace, Dave? Because the PR firm said we could only do 4 years, and that's what Joe agreed to. Oh, well, we don't worry about that. That's in the future. Okay. You can do that, but you're not helping the world. Everyone's mad at Tilney. And that's a different club. We didn't have to talk about that. We're not bringing in the Optimist Club. Yes, Palmer? All right, I do have one last part now. At the next there is an out clause. At the next officers meeting, we will vote it out, and then our projected death of our club will be in 5 years, where we will be only able to handle one slice of pizza from Pizza Oven divided by the last 6 members. So if you want to save the club, tell your officers to keep the $100 so we can promote Toastmasters around the world, bring in 150 new members, have clubs all over the world, and the officers are able to go to Hawaii and take Nancy's cats and anybody else's cats to Hawaii. No, dogs were not brought up, Dave. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. So.
Of the day.
Oh, it's commitment.
Not only that, not some kind of company that's gonna come in here and to take away our intimacy, our time together. So, no, I'm gonna put this word right here for you. So I would like you to be committed to our
We are committed. So since we've all decided to be committed, we all are going to write our 30 words why we joined Toastmasters and what we got out of it so we can build our wheel of communication and save ourselves $100. Yes, Dave? Yes, you can. And email it to me. I want to thank everybody today for a great event, and I'm glad we all agreed to write our paragraphs. Thank you.
Thank you, Les. Thank you, thank you. Just in case you didn't know, that was a presentation from Presentation Mastery, Managing a Difficult Audience. I didn't include that in the beginning, but I presume you knew what it was. Our second speaker of the day is Nancy Ferry, being evaluated by Sylvia Baptiste. Sylvia, please share Nancy's objectives. Thank you. Good morning.
That was good. I like that. You have a better plan than some of our politicians, but we won't go there. This morning, Nancy's speech is from the Dynamic Leadership Level 3 elective. And she is going to be connecting with the audience on an unfamiliar topic or something that she's not familiar with. I guess I already said that. The time is 5 to 7 minutes. And this morning, I already started looking at the evaluation form, and I'm really interested in this topic because her title this morning is Connecting with Tattoos. Nancy Ferry.
Thank you, gentlemen. I want to be seen and I want to be heard today. How many of you want to be seen and heard? That's why we're here. We want to be seen and heard. We want somebody to know that we matter. As a chaplain, well, right now my role is to connect with the audience. And as a chaplain, that's my role every time I walk into, well, right now I'm at the hospital. I walk into the hospital and my role is to connect with another person. Sometimes people think chaplains are just about saying a prayer or going in and talking religion. No, I want to know who you are and what is on your heart. I found that there are many ways to connect with people. It's not always with words. Sometimes it begins with something like a tattoo. I remember a doctor called me one time and asked me to come see this guy who just wouldn't talk, wouldn't tell him what was going on. He was at the hospital, but he wouldn't talk to anybody. And I walked in and this man was absolutely covered from head to toe with tattoos. And I thought to myself, what is it that I can connect with? I can look at this tattoos and wonder, but I'm going to ask, tell me about your artwork. Well, he opened up and told me so many things about himself. I thought tattoos are one of those things that you don't just put a tattoo on. Sometimes people do when they were a teenager, they're 18 or something, they go to a place and have a tattoo because somebody else did it, but you did it for a reason. It was almost maybe a rite of passage or a dare, or I'm going to do this because my mother's going to get mad, whatever it is. I want to express myself somehow. And people don't go through that kind of pain. I'm not a tattoo person for myself because I don't like pain. So that's not my avenue of art expression or expressing my soul. Tattoos can just speak for so many things. Sometimes I ask people about a tattoo. They'll tell me about a loss, or they'll tell me about they have a tattoo because it's covering a scar, and that scar was very painful emotionally. And so they've made something beautiful out of something that was painful and hurtful. How do we connect with each other on this world? How do we connect? There's so many ways. When we look at somebody, we can judge their clothes, their size, their glasses, their shoes, whatever. We can judge by so many different things. But when we look at somebody and we're looking at their soul, we're inviting a conversation. We don't always have to do that in Toastmasters, look at people's soul. But when we hear those speeches, we do hear something about that person. We hear, for me, I hope you hear compassion, and I hope you hear that one of my main things in life is to connect with other people. There's all different kinds of audiences that we come into contact with. Audiences here that are sort of formal audiences. Come into audiences for me is maybe one person in the hospital, maybe a family members. Could be an audience of one person at the cash register. How many times do we go through Walmart or Tops or wherever and not say hello to our cashier? Connecting with them and saying, thank you, Sue. Thank you, Joe. Thank you for bagging my groceries. Or just smile and say, hey, Cindy, how's your day? We can do that more easily when we are open to wanting to connect with other people. And as Toastmasters, reaching out and inviting other people to come to our meetings. That's a way of connecting on many levels because you're connecting with them, but you're also connecting them to other people here at Toastmasters. I remember when I was a kid, we played this game in my family. I don't know if anybody else played it, if it was a thing or we just made it up. It was like, you're the oddball because. You're the oddball. I had a sister and a brother. So my brother was the oddball because he was a boy. You're the oddball because you're skinny. You're the oddball because, and we went on and on trips why you aren't the one that fits in. And I think about how many times in our lives we're judging who's in and who's out. Who aren't we connecting with because we have just made up our minds that they're the oddball, they're different than me. Connect, find out what your similarities are. And like I said, the grocery store, what a great place to just make a simple, small connection. Fellow Toastmasters, Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you, Nancy. Thank you, Len. Perfect. Thank you, Len. Thank you, Nancy, and thank you, Len. Mike, may we please have a timers report for our speakers? Thank you, Mike.
Sure, Marty. Both of our speakers made time. Les came in at 14 minutes and 41 seconds, and Nancy came in at 6 minutes and 3 seconds.
Thank you, Mike. At this point in time, we can vote for the best speaker. Now we're moving into our evaluation portion of the meeting. Our first evaluator will be Mike Licata evaluating Les Robinson's speech. Welcome, Mike.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. Good morning again, fellow Toastmasters and our guest Saquon, and especially Les. Les, I have to give you a lot of credit. This speech was well thought out, it was well planned, and even better, it was well executed. There was some anxiety and consternation when the speech title leaked a couple of weeks ago, but I think you handled it well. I think Marty, as a Toastmaster, handled it well, and we all understand as experienced Toastmasters that everything you did was in jest. So I want to give you a lot of credit for planning something this thoroughly and for being in person. These speeches, when it comes to different parts of pathways, can be very difficult for very different reasons. You being in person definitely enhanced the experience. Me being online, I missed a lot of what the audience had to say, but you handled it really well. You didn't escalate any of the problems. You did a tremendous job of keeping the speech on track and finishing within time. So I commend you on that. You tried to start off with the speech by coming out from the lectern, but you forgot the microphone. And in this day and age of hybrid meetings, it's important to make sure that you at least are speaking in front of the microphone, because for those of us online, and it clear it, we need it so we can hear what you're saying. So you did it, but with that, you ended up committed to the lectern and committed to just standing behind it instead of taking the mic or using the lapel and being in front of the audience. If you were ever to give this speech in front of this type of speech, not this exact speech, but if you ever give this type of speech in front of an audience, I do think it's important to remember that in person, when you're walking around, it could be heightened. It could be a heightened experience. So I want to commend you on your speech this morning. I think you did a great job. I want to tell you that I thought this was a very well thought out, very, very well planned speech this morning. And I want to thank you again for being in person. It enhanced the speech and it made everything a lot better. Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you, Mike. Next, we have our second evaluator, Sylvia Baptiste, evaluating Nancy Ferry's speech. Welcome, Sylvia. Well, good morning.
Morning again. Nancy, thank you for a heartfelt speech. I really felt everything was genuine. You put your soul out there and you connected with us by starting off with a question. And that always draws everybody in. And it just kept on going. I liked that you moved this out of the way. You did the handheld. And you thought about that. Should I do it? Should I not do that? The night before, I could tell you, it was really a good choice. As I said, asking the question, how do you connect? How to get people to open up to you, and just being a person. The voice level, vocal variety you used was done at the right time. And you asked us a question like 2 times. You lowered your voice the second time of asking that question. And it kept me engaged. And I'm pretty sure everybody here was engaged with the whole speech. Heartfelt. I felt it. I liked the gestures you used, a little bit of the hands, even though you had one hand occupied. That was fine. Now, how to improve this speech? I had a tough time figuring out something, but I did come up with something. Maybe it will help, maybe it won't. Bring a picture of somebody with tattoos. It's the only thing I could think of to be visual, because I thought your speech had everything in it. Again, it was genuine speech, which we like. You didn't have to use notes because it came from the heart. And you kept us connected. And I said the vocal variety of the voice in and out and asking the questions. So thank you.
Thank you, Sylvia. This point in time, we'll call for a timer's report for our evaluators, Mike Florio. Mike, come in, Mike.
Thank you.
Yep, sir.
Again, welcome, everyone. Both of our evaluators came in on time. Mike Licata came in at 2:47 and Sylvia came in at 2:09. Marty. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. Okay, we can vote for our best evaluator. No, I was doing a little research on the theme and acquainting myself, if you will, with the 9/11, and it said different things you can do. And I'm not going to stand up here and tell you what they said, but just different things, whatever you want to do to remember, our fallen heroes, the workers in the different buildings. And one thing that I think is important is to fly the American flag. And I see that this flag really is much more beautiful than my little flag that I have in next to my computer, to help us remember, the United States and everything that it stands for. It's so important. That's one of the main things that you can do, is fly the flag. Growing up on my street, many people, families flew the flag. And if you look today, I don't know if there are more people flying the flag or less, but I encourage each of you to fly the flag and be proud of the United States. This point in time, I'm going to call up our general evaluator, Dave Licata, to take over. Dave, welcome. Thank you for your continued commitment to AM Lockport, even though the dues are going to be going up to $100 a month. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Wow. Feel like Katie. All righty. Once again, the club has suffered general evaluator amnesia. I came in, I'd like to salute Marty for getting the meeting started on time. Unfortunately, I was not on time, but to make up for it, I stood up so maybe he'd see me and remember to introduce me, but sadly, that was not to be. So, oh, hey, I finally heard a so. I heard that. Normally, I don't even hear them. All righty. Now, Marty impressed me this week because he was so careful to make sure that we all knew our jobs and then we all got an agenda. And I'm looking at the agenda and it's sad that Margot didn't show up and Marty made the decision to have two speakers and not ask for a hip pocket speech. Oh, I see. Okay, that's what I missed. Okay, that's on me. I'm not going to apologize, but I will say that's on me.
Hi, Dave.
Hi, boss. So let me dig out my notes. We'd like to once again thank Marty for his hard work and his organization. And the older I get, the slower I moved. I got up even 15 minutes earlier today than I usually do, but I still managed not to overcome the fact that I'm just an old guy that can't move anymore. So let's get on with the evaluators. So the first one is Mike Licata. And what Michael did today was praise, he recommended, and he encouraged. And that's the sandwich. We start out with some praise. We start out with some, in the middle of that sandwich, we put recommendations on how the speech can be improved the next time he did. And of course, we finish with encouragement. So Michael was indeed a good friend and a good Toastmaster the way he encouraged Les, but he was also gave Les some ideas on how he can improve. And kudos to Les for picking that, getting that speech out of the way, because that's a tough one. And he did his homework, but I'm not supposed to evaluate the speaker. I'm supposed to evaluate the evaluators. Now, Sylvia, I just sat there and I started, because I had to focus a little bit more on her than I usually do. She's so careful with her words. Her voice is melodious. These are God's gifts that Sylvia already had. They are tools that she has. But once again, she did what you're supposed to do. She constructed a sandwich. She was heavy with the praise and had a fight to find an idea, recommendations, because she had an excellent speaker to evaluate, but she still managed to do it. So I thought that was terrific. And now on behalf of your general manager, I'd like to point out, and Marshall, you belong to 5 clubs. You are our Toastmaster emperor. You belong to 5 clubs. So when you were general evaluator last week, you forgot my credo, my rules. The job of general evaluator is to evaluate the Toastmaster of the day and the other evaluators, not every single job aspect, the weather, and the phase of the moon. So I've been only saying this because I believe I was a Toastmaster maybe 18 months before the club was actually chartered. Plus 40 years, I've been saying the Toastmaster and the evaluators, and that's it. Keep it simple. And now Marty has asked me to call on reports, and we got to get Steve Smith up here in a big hurry because he's got an appointment, or Marty's going to cover it. I'm sorry. Okay. This is our Wagmaster word of the day, our grammarian, and the stage manager.
Thank you, Dave. Thank you, Steve. Word of the day. Joe Budnick used a word during table topics. Les used a word during his speech many times. Nancy waved, and a sign around used the word during her speech. As far as the word of the day, commitment, and as far as grammarian, Steve noted that he heard a lot of the endings, ing endings. We call it dropping the G's, ing, boom. Heard a lot of those being dropped. For example, working instead of working, remembering instead of remembering, gonna instead of going to. That concludes Steve's report, and I'm proud to present for Steve. Thank you, David, Mr. General Evaluator. I'm reintroducing you.
Yes, thank you. There we go, back where it belongs. Well, class, it's time for our quiz. The quiz will go for 10% of your final mark in June. He's back.
I'm back. I'm back. Good morning, everyone. Let's see now. How many members does Les want to bring to the club? 150. That's ambitious, I'll say. How much is that going to cost us every second? 2 cents, only 2 cents. Like less than a cup of coffee. How long is the payment plan? 4 years. That's it. It's better than a seat at the Buffalo Bills, right? That's 10 years. You could do it over 10 years, Dave. Spread out the payments. It's only 10 grand. What the hell? Anyway, let's see. How much per month is that going to cost each member? $100. Let's see. How many tattoos does Nancy have? None. I can show you guys my tattoo. No, all right. Sure. What was Nancy's other job? Chaplain, helping people, connecting. It's excellent. How many years has it been since 9/11? 23 years. That's a long time. And I remember exactly where I was that day. I mean, that's kind of like the Kennedy assassination, right? Or the Challenger going down. I think everybody knew right where they were that day. Two buildings went down that day. Actually, three buildings went down. And I'm wondering if anybody here knows what the third building was. And, well, the Pentagon was hit. But in New York City, there was another building.
There were more than three, Mike.
There were more than three, but this one was larger, right? Pretty tall. And there's a lot of controversy about this building.
7 World Trade.
There you go. I knew somebody knew. And
But you're also forgetting about 3, 4, and 5.
3, 4, and 5. You're right. 3, 4, and 5, but 7 was about a block away, right? And that
Across the
one-
street.
That one went down kind of like the same as the others. The others, I think, probably from the rubble of the two going down maybe fell. But anyway, the whole complex was destroyed. And I thought it was always pretty interesting, Building 7 and the controversy surrounding that. Anyway, that's it for today. Thank you. Mr. General, there you go.
Mike Florio, everyone.
David?
We have a little
Da,
housekeeping.
da, 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 da.
Yeah, well, we're not ready to do that just yet.
Okay.
Stay in here though.
Stand by.
Stand by. On West Avenue in Lockport, we have a grade school called Charlotte Cross. And on that morning, your alma mater, yeah. And on that morning, I was delivering a case of coffee to their break room with some cups, cream, and sugar. And to my amazement, I was not allowed in. And a lady came down from the office and talked to me at the door to explain they were in lockdown, which made absolutely no sense to me. I mean, it's not a phrase that was ever in use until that terrible day. And then the first thing when I heard that a plane had hit the tower, I saw a little Piper Cub, maybe a little private plane, hit the tower and slide down the side. And then I found out the terrible truth. I have not been to Ground Zero. I have been to Pennsylvania. And they have a big rock way out in the field. And they've done a tremendous job at their visitor center in Stroudsville. And the thing I enjoyed most is the Rangers that were given the chat are still mad. They're still angry. And we should still be mad. And we still should be angry. And never forget what happened. All right, you want to do some awards? Absolutely. All right. Oh, wait, I thought of one more thing.
Yes.
Shaquan, want to come back up here and tell us what you thought of the meeting? Earlier, he leaned over to me and said, a lot of clapping. I said, damn right.
Well, I enjoyed this meeting. Thank you. Toastmasters, a lot, Toastmasters at home and abroad. I'll just project. I enjoyed the meeting and I'm glad that you all have something to do. I did have a comment that, more and more today, it seems I hear all these out there people telling me about communities and people, they belong to communities online, but they've never actually shook hands or interacted or had a meal with any of these people. Right. But so I think that, getting up here, just getting up here on time has been a huge deal for me. You'll get to know me later. So thank you. And I can see the leadership points and I'm especially happy that myself as a maturing man, I kind of, it's almost like an inspection, something went wrong in our culture where it's almost like after you turn 25 or graduate college, you're not supposed to grow anymore. You know what I mean? Like you're not supposed to find new things in your 30s. You know what I'm saying? You're not supposed to love in your 50s. You're not supposed to go back to school in your 60s. Right. So I think not breaking the trends. I think seeing examples of people in my community who are a bit further along the road than I am, still getting up and doing things, it's really nice for me. So thank you for having me.
Thank you for reminding us why we do things. Marty. Here's Marty with our winners. Oh, the poor fella's got to come back up.
So best table topics.
Come on back up,
David?
Shaquan.
We're gonna give them that.
Oh.
We'll give them. Best table topics. Thank you. Saquon.
Oh,
No, that's, just hang on, hang on to that one for now. Thank you, sir.
I have a few at home. I'll bring them one Wednesday.
Best evaluator, Sylvia Baptiste. Sylvia. There you go, Sylvia. And best speaker of the day, Les Robinson. Les.
Oh,
Well, hold on.
here comes Les. He's scarred. He's tattered. He fought the good fight.
Thank you, Sylvia.
Take your ribbon first and then pull the lucky.
Thank you, Les. We'll get you the speaker.
I don't have it. It's way back there. I should have brought it with me. And the winner is, for the people at Zoom that don't have a ticket, 2668. Well deserved. It's our stage manager and floor manager, Len. All right, do we have a presiding officer that wants to say good morning and signing off?
I don't know at this point who the Toastmaster is, but you all have access to the free Toast. Just a reminder with the free Toast, the website is set up with the agenda. Please click on confirm under your name as soon as you can, because that helps the Toastmaster of the day and the general evaluator and everyone else plan for the meeting for the week ahead. And also it gives you time to plan. So everyone have a wonderful day. Keep your commitments. Well, Steve Smith is the Toastmaster of the day. Steve will be reaching out for confirmations. Mike, do you have anything else?
Just a
Mike?
quick
Thank you, Mike.
Just a quick announcement. Start thinking about the next schedule, everyone. I'll be reaching out to everyone. Deciding on what speeches you might want to do, what time you might have off. So we're going into the next, 3 month, next cycle. Thank you. Next quarter cycle. So keep that in mind and get it out to me as quickly as you possibly can. That way I can make sure I put the schedule together. Thanks.
If there's nothing further, we'll close the meeting. Everyone, thank you. Meeting adjourned. That's yours.
That's mine. You didn't bring it up.
No, I didn't. Was